Welcome to team meeting, you guys. I'm so excited for this week. You guys have been absolute rock stars, crushing this week so far. So let's go ahead and dive into some breakout rooms. So if this is your first team meeting, or if you're not used to team meetings, the first thing that we do every single team meeting is we hop into breakout rooms and we just get to know each other a little bit better. So first breakout room question, you guys can either write these down, put these in your notes, or wherever you want to put them. So if you were coming out on stage, what would be your entrance theme song? So pretty much like, what's your walk-up song? Like if you had a theme song, what song would it be and why? Next is going to be show and tell. So go grab something cool that's in your house to share. So I'll give you guys like 10 seconds to go grab something real quick and just show to the group or show to your guys' partners. And then the last question is, if you could have an animal sidekick, what would it be and why? This can be real or mythological or whatever you want it to be. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and create these breakout rooms. Annie, you're going to be with Nicholas Beckman. Ashley, you're going to be with Christian. Blake, you're going to be with Eduardo. Actually, you guys are together all the time. Blake, you're going to be with Terilyn. Christopher, you're going to be with Zach. And then Eduardo, Isabella, and Karina will be our group of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and open those breakout rooms for you guys. So go ahead and join those breakout rooms. And we'll come back here in like 5-ish minutes. Awesome, you guys. So let's see how well you guys paid attention to your partner's questions. So let's go ahead and pull up the breakout rooms because I forget who is with who. All right, Ashley Fetty, what is the song that Christian would have for his theme song?
He said "Here Comes the Boom," which is dope because it made me think of that movie with Kevin James. Have you seen that?
Oh, Grown Ups?
No, Here Comes the Boom.
Mall Cop?
No, it's called Here Comes the Boom.
The movie's called Here Comes
the movie is called
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I'm not a big Kevin James fan. I mean, he's in some good stuff, but Adam Sandler's my guy. Adam Sandler and I have the same birthday. Fun fact.
Oh, dope. When's your birthday then? Wait, I forgot.
September.
Okay, I was like, I remember seeing all your like birthday party posts, but I couldn't remember what day it was.
Yep, it's September.
We see.
Let's go, Blake. What's something cool in your house that you want to share with the squad?
Cool in my house?
Yeah.
Oh, I told her I'm in my girlfriend's apartment's clubhouse thing, so it's not really my house. But I showed her this pillow that I feel looks pretty fluffy and expensive. It's pretty bougie. It was the closest thing I could grab. So this is my show and tell item.
Awesome.
It's a little much, but it's pretty cool.
Expensive pillows. I love it.
Looks bougie.
Who else has something that they want to share with the group? Something that they have. Christian, I feel like you got something. You got something you want to share? Something cool in your dorm room?
Yeah. So I went around walking for 5 minutes, and what I got was my hydro flask.
Oh, gotta love the hydro flask. You got stickers on it and everything.
Yeah. So
I love it. Do you guys want to see? You guys want to see my show and tell?
Is it Cutco?
No, it's better. It's a sword. This is actually what I spent my first Cutco paycheck on. I was with my friends. We were at the mall and they had like the sword shop. And they're like, "You won't buy it." And I was like, "Dude, I just got $1,000 paycheck from Cutco. I'm balling out." So I bought a sword. And it's like Excalibur. It says like King Arthur Excalibur on it. Pretty badass. So yeah, I bought a sword. It was my first Cutco paycheck. I spent it on a sword. So yeah, that's my show and tell. Who needs guns when you have swords? Am I right? No.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And then another breakout room. Eduardo, if Isabella could have a sidekick for an animal sidekick, what animal sidekick would it be?
It was a dragon, is what she picked.
Dragon is a valid answer. Dragon is a valid answer. I would have taken dragon, dolphin, unicorn, griffin, and dragon. Yeah, those are the only.
Hey, I want to change my answer to a dolphin.
Yeah,
I
dude.
didn't even think about that.
Right? Imagine.
I want a dolphin.
dolphin.
You guys are all over the place. How do you go from dragon to dolphin?
Because it's have
It's
you
really
seen
wild
dolphins?
jump.
I said dragon. Dragon
It's
was
not-
mine, but I wasn't thinking dolphin on the back burner.
It's not that like it's not that big of a jump when you think about it. They're like dragons of the sea. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull up our calendars. We got some upcoming events going on. So next week I'm going to be in Arizona. We have something called SLC, which is a sales leadership conference. So every single district manager from East Coast to West Coast, even from our Canadian region, are going to be in Phoenix, Arizona for a 4-day long conference. So with that being said, we are going to have team meeting with the Fort Collins office, and it's going to be led by Emma Rubenstein. And Zach will also be there to help direct you guys and to also help you guys and be kind of the face of Colorado Springs office. So next week, team meeting will be from 5 to 7 p.m. and it's going to be on a different Zoom link. It's going to be on tinyurl.com/foco-vector. So it's going to be on a different Zoom link. It's going to be on a different Zoom link for next Thursday. So I said it now. I will also post it in the group meet tomorrow. We are going to be doing a different team meeting, a different link for team meeting tomorrow or for next week. Next is Team Phone Jam. Team Phone Jam will stay on this Zoom link. We'll have a Team Phone Jam on Sunday, October 9th from 1 to 2 p.m. And that will be on my Zoom. It'll be on the Vector meeting one. And then we have Key Staff on October 9th, right before Phone Jam from 12 to 1 p.m. And what Key Staff is the skills that you guys will need for becoming an assistant manager. And Key Staff is really that first step into advancement opportunity. And it's that first step of really diving into that advancement opportunity as well. So all of our assistant managers show up, all of our assistant managers in training show up, and it is open to anyone who's interested in advancement opportunities and potentially becoming a future assistant manager. And then on Wednesday, October 19th, we have Mike's meeting. So Mike Hall is a student at the University of Portland. He's from the Fort Collins office. And every other Wednesday, so bi-weekly, Wednesday from 7 to 8, he does a meeting for college students who are doing this job around school and selling around school. Mike has sold over $30,000 around school part-time while being an engineering major. So it's a really cool chance and a really cool opportunity for you guys just to sit down, get to meet people who are in college, actively selling, and just kind of getting that tips, tricks for success that you need. Christian was there last night, so was Eduardo. They were diving into schedules and what schedules really looked like selling around school. So anyone can go to that if you guys want, but that's going to kind of be the focus. And it is 100% rep led. Which means there's going to be no district managers there. So it's really a chance for you guys to ask the questions that you guys want to ask and really just be able to dive in and learn from someone who's going to be running their own branch office next summertime and who's actively doing this job around school and a tough major. Next thing I want you guys to go ahead and write down, this is the quote of the week. This is the quote from the week. This is from one of my favorite movies of all time. If anyone knows what this movie or what this quote is from,
Lion King, baby.
Gary, huh?
Lion King.
Oh, Blake, dude, fire! Yeah, Lion King's my favorite
Graffiti,
Disney movie. But the quote is, "Oh yes, the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or learn from it." And that's what I kind of want our kind of theme of the week to be. Yes, people will cancel on you. Yes, you'll have no sales. Yes, you'll have cancellations. Yes, you'll have demos that don't go as well. But you can either let that hurt your ego or you can learn from it and get better from it every single day. You can run from it and try to ignore it, or you can learn and get better from it. So this is a really good life skill. This is also a good Cutco skill to have, of just being able to move on from the past. And we all know the past can hurt, but we need to learn from it. So that's going to kind of be the quote of the week and kind of the theme of this team meeting today. So with that being said, let's do some updates on our team goals. So we have a team goal right now to sell $125,000 by November 22nd. We've done 61,704. We have another 63,296 more to go. And what that breaks down to is about 9K for 7 weeks. We just hit that halfway point. So I'm super excited for this because we hit that halfway point. It's a 14-week long contest. And we're at week 7 right now. Dude, sorry. Harper is just like running around the background, just making noise. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not, but he needs to chill out. But so what we've done so far, this is how much we need to go. So with that being said, this is a team goal. So everyone's sales matters. Everyone demos matters. Everyone phone calls matter. Every single time you make a sale, it doesn't matter if it's an ultimate set or a single trimmer or a trimmer sheath. No matter what it is, every single time you guys make a sale, it helps us get to that goal of $125,000. So as we are getting closer and closer to that team goal, it's going to be more and more important that we are all contributing, all placing at least one order on the board and having absolutely no goose eggs. So from here on out, I want to make sure every time we show up to team meeting, we have an order on the board before team meeting. No goose eggs. No goose eggs for the week. No goose eggs showing up to team meeting. All right. It's going to help us hit our team goal, and no one person can do it by themselves. With that being said, the reason why we're going after $125,000 is because if we get to that level, we will be able to pass Alexander Sylvester in the Silver Cup race, and we will win a freaking national title. We will win a national title if we hit that goal in the next 7 weeks. So right now we're at number 8 in the entire company. We're at $160,000 so far. Alex is at 255. So we are really close. We're right there. We're less than $100,000 away, and being able to finish the year strong. I'll come up with another team contest after November 22nd as well. But you guys, we want that cup. We want the cup. I want the cup. You guys want the cup. Let's go win a freaking national title. Let's be a part of a championship winning freaking team. So we're at number 8 right now. We're about to pass Rose. And now we just got to pass Brandon Phillips as well. So you guys are part of something bigger and special, bigger than yourselves, and part of something special. And then last week, we were the number 2 office in the entire company, right behind Mac Patterson in the Texoma office in McKinney. We did 4,983. Mac had a really good week last week, but we're going to have a better week this week. So we've gotten like top 5, we've gotten top 2. We haven't been 1 in like 2 to 3 weeks, and I like staying at number 1. So guys, the goal next week, to be number 1. Number 2 is cool, but number 1 is better. So that's just a little bit about where we are in the Silver Cup race and what we did last week. Also, the All-American Scholarship, we got some movement on here, which is really exciting. So Eduardo at number 90 in the All-American race as well. So you can see him, Colorado Springs, University of Colorado Springs, at 4K at that number 90 spot. So he's guaranteeing himself right now some scholarship money, which is pretty cool. Miss Annie Neeson for the fall campaign, going to the University of Phoenix at 5,000. And then we got Daniel Boyle at 31 and also going to UCCS at 11,780. And then we got Nicholas Beckman, who's on the call, who you guys will be learning from, also in the race for the All-American Scholarship. So what the All-American Scholarship is based on your guys' sales per campaign. The top 100 students are awarded this scholarship, and it will help you pay your way through school. So if you guys are currently in school, doing online school, or going to actual classes, it doesn't matter. Being able to win an All-American Scholarship is absolutely huge. It'll help pay your way through school and graduate college debt-free. And I'm not sure about you guys, but graduating college debt-free sounds pretty nice. So that's just an update on our All-American Scholarship standings. So now let's go ahead and talk about orders on the board. This was done at like 4 o'clock. So if you guys have placed an order in the past hour, I'm sorry, it's not up here. But placing an order on the board so far, we got Eduardo, 337. So one clap for Eduardo on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Terlin placing another order, making me update the slides. Placing 2 orders this week at 620 with an average order of 310. She's going after a $10,000 fast start. So wish her all the Cutco good luck you guys can. Someone clap for Terlin on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then Annie Neeson, $100 away from breaking my record. She's at 900 CPO so far for the week. This week is week 15. If she gets to $1,000 in sales this week, so she places one order of $100, she will beat my record of 15 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales. So Annie is an absolute rock star. She's an absolute stud. Be sending her good luck. Records are meant to be broken. So Annie, go break my record. One clap for Annie on 3. 1, 2, 3. Then let's talk about what we did last week. So last week we did 49.91. We had 2 reps over the newsletter. We had Annie and Terlin over $1,000 in sales for the week, which is pretty cool. So let's do a quick round of recognition. So placing 1 order last week at 52 CPO, Mr. Christopher Plum. So one clap for Chris on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then Eduardo placing 1 order last week at 113. One clap for Eduardo on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Andrew placing an order at 156. One clap for Andrew on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Karina, 1 order on the board, 160 CPO. One clap for her on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we got Christian Nazario placing 1 order at 229. One clap for Christian on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then over $1,000 in sales, no stranger to this slide, Annie Neeson at 1,081. And Annie is now at 35% commission, so doesn't suck. So you can do some quick math on that, making some good paychecks. I don't think Annie's had a paycheck since she started that was under like $300. So she's been an absolute rock star. So one clap for Annie Neeson on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then leading the board, Miss Terlin Thompson last week placing 4 orders at 31.92 with an average order of 798, which doesn't suck, making over $400 in her first week on the job, doing it part-time around school and classes. But I will talk about you more here in a little bit, so I'm not going to say too much. But Terlin, congratulations, keep crushing it, keep killing it. One clap for her on 3. 1, 2, 3. And then let's talk about Consistency Club. So what Consistency Club is, it's every week that you guys are over $1,000 in sales, you get to be a part of our Consistency Club. If you're 5 weeks over $1,000 in sales, you get a free entertainer pack from your boy. If you're 10 weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales, you get a free entertainer pack. And if you break the record, which Annie is about to set, I'll get you whatever you want to. So Annie's got a lot of free Cutco from me just from this Consistency Club. And why $1,000? Why is $1,000 so key? You guys hear me say that all the time. Like you guys hear me say newsletter, $1,000 in sales. Why is $1,000 in sales so important to get to? And why is that mark so important? It's because that's when you get put on the national newsletter. What the newsletter is, it's an email that gets sent out to every single district manager and every single Cutco sales professional in the entire company. All of our district managers look at it. I look at it. Drew Frank looks at it. Lloyd Reagan looks at it. And to be able to get that national recognition is absolutely insane. I was actually looking at the newsletter, and Annie Neeson, 14 weeks in a row, she's competing with CSPs right now. She's actually more weeks in a row over $1,000 in sales than some CSPs in our division. So Annie, keep crushing it, keep killing it. So let's look at the members of our Consistency Club. I need to get a bigger slide because Annie is filling up all of these freaking slots. I don't know what to do with all the rest of the fire emojis, but Annie Neeson over 14 weeks in a row. And then Terlin, their newest member to our Consistency Club, 1 week in a row over $1,000 in sales and less than $400 away from being over $1,000 in sales this week. So Consistency Club is cool. I need someone to beat Annie and try to beat Annie's record, beat my record. Annie needs some competition, you guys. She's feeling too comfortable up there. So next thing I want to go ahead and dive into is some promotions. So who give themselves a pay raise this week? So no one over 1,000, but we have a 3K promo in the house. Terrell Thompson, getting over $3,000 in sales in her first week on the job. And Terrell is just an absolute stud. She's so good and so natural with her sales. She drops down, she follows the script, she follows the program, she does everything she's supposed to. She calls in for deals too. I think I've helped her close on every single order she's placed so far. She always calls me for deals and discounts. She's like, hey, my aunt's wanting to do this, and my aunt or my grandpa's wanting this, this person wants this. What deals, what discounts can we do? And she's been calling in. I've been helping her close like crazy, and she's also been closing like crazy as well. So Terrell, congratulations on hitting your $3,000 promotion. Terrell is also going after a $10,000 fast start. So she's trying to go after 10K in her first 10 days on the job. So you guys be cheering her on in the group me, be typing in the chat box, cheering her on. She's got 4 or 5 more days left to hit a couple of promotions and to sell a lot of knives. And she definitely has the names list, the schedule, the attitude, the determination, and the skill to do it. So let's get a 2 clap for Terrell on 3. 1, 2, 3. That deserves 2 claps. No one at 6K, no one at 10K. Annie hit 20K 2 weeks ago, and she's about to get to her 30K promo. I'm not sure if you saw that yet, Annie, but you are very close to your $30,000 promotion, which is also very exciting. And then for the people in their fast start, going after a $10,000 fast start, it is possible, it is doable. Here are some people from the Colorado crew who have hit $10,000 in the first 10 days on the job. We got Marissa Feltoon, Nicholas Beckman, who's actually on the call, who you guys will be learning from later today. We got Jacob Burnett, Jonathan Mounir, Kayla Weber, Nora Nizrat, Daniel Boyle, Tristan Miner. Oh, there we go. And Tristan Miner. Awesome. So those are our $10,000 fast starters. If you guys want to sell 10K in your first 10 days, it is doable. It is possible. Don't give up. It all happens on the very last day. With that being said, I just want to do some recognition for our beautiful and amazing staff. We have Isabella Strublow. Isabella texted all of you guys today, reminding you guys about team meeting. When you guys are talking to Isabella, you guys are basically talking to me. When you're talking to me, you're basically talking to Isabella. Her and I talk every single day. She's my right-hand person. She's my go-to. I know some of you guys have gotten one-on-one meetings with her, and she's called you guys and asking for one-on-one meetings. Please get one-on-one meetings with Isabella. She's very good at what she does. We have a very big team, and I can't talk to every single person every single week. And so me and Isabella have been kind of tag teaming the development and the coaching. So please get your one-on-one coachings with me. Please get your one-on-one coachings with Isabella as well. And then we have Annie Neeson leading the front on the sales side of things. And then on the back end, we have Zach Utera doing a lot of the management stuff, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that really helps the office grow and helps the office just be absolute rock stars, developing some new programs and systems, which I'm excited about as well. So that's a little bit about our staff. And then also on the call, we have our assistant managers in training. We have Karina and Ashley Fetty. They are in training to become assistant managers. They are assistant managers in training. They come to every single key staff every single week. So if you guys are interested in advancement opportunity, I am looking for more assistant managers. I am looking for more assistant managers in training. So the 3 things I really look for in my assistant managers, if you guys want to go ahead and write this down, is 1, perfect effort. I'm not expecting you guys to be perfect. No one is perfect. I've messed up like 6 times today so far. So no one is perfect, but I do expect perfect effort. Effort is 100% controlled on you guys. What effort really breaks down to me is, do you guys give a shit? That's what effort is. It's, are you trying? Are you doing your best? And only you know your best. So are you really giving your best into everything that you do? That's what I look for. So 1 is perfect effort. Next is a positive attitude. I'm not going to deal with any negative Nancy's or any Debbie Downers or any fun alliteration names that you guys have. You guys will be positive on my team. You're going to turn the best days and you guys are going to turn the negatives into positives. And I shouldn't tell if you had your worst day ever or your best day ever. That's what I like a lot about Isabella is I don't know if Isabella had a great day or a worst day. Every single time I talk to her, she is smiling. She has the energy and she's bringing it every single day. And that's how it should be for every single person on our squad. And then the last thing I look for is consistency and showing up on the leaderboard and being on the board every single week. I know that every single week, sometimes you have a little bit slower with sales. Sometimes you have a really big week, but just making sure that there's no zeros on the board. I look for people that are consistent in their sales and then people that are consistent in showing up. Showing up is 90% of the battle. If you show up, good things will happen. Showing up is 90% of this job. The other 10% is effort. That's what it really breaks down to. So make sure that you guys show up and then give that effort, and good things will happen. With that being said, that leads us into our first teaching topic of today. So this is Nicholas Beckman. I've actually had a hand in coaching Nick. Nick started with us almost over a year ago. Actually, he just hit his 1 year with us. He's been an absolute rock star, an absolute stud, and I've loved to be working with Nick. Nick has an unbeatable work ethic. When we say perfect effort, he literally embodies perfect effort. He is always making phone calls, always shows up to every single event, and knows how to get his stuff done. So to talk to you guys today about closing, phoning, and recommendations, we got Nicholas Beckman. And he's driving right now, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to connect or not. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess I'm going to do my talk next. He said, let me get better service. All right, perfect. So we're going to first, I'm going to give you guys a talk, and then we'll hear from Nick when he gets to a better spot with service. So we're going to be talking about the momentum triangle. So you guys can go ahead and title this in your notes, the momentum triangle. Now, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, especially in the fall, just because momentum is so key and so important, and consistency in this job is going to be even more important. So can everyone see my little whiteboard? Thumbs up. Can everyone see that? All right, awesome. So this is something I want you guys to go ahead and write down and draw in your guys' notes. So we're going to draw 2 triangles. And then we're just like that. And then like that. So I'm not very good with drawing on this whiteboard, so I'm going to be trying my best to make this look good. So we're going to draw 1 triangle like that. Then we're going to draw another triangle like this. Perfect. And then we're going to section this off in 3 pieces. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. And over here, it's going to match perfectly. We're going to do 1, 2, 3. I didn't do this the most even, but that's all right. And then I want you guys to label this week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to do 4, and do 3, and then 2, and then under this triangle, you're going to title this triangle effort, and then this triangle is going to be results. So this is the momentum triangle. So this is one of my favorite things, and I draw this in my notebook all the time, especially when I'm coming off kind of a hard time, or I just have like a lot of cancellations. I've had a lot of reschedules, whatever it might be. This is something that really keeps me motivated, and something that really helps me stay focused throughout my journey, because I know that this job can sometimes be really, really taxing mentally. So this is your effort triangle. So in your first week, you're going to be putting in a lot of freaking effort. and you're not going to see a lot of results right away. But it's important to stay with that momentum. It's important to stay because the more effort you put in consistently, the more results you guys get. And then week 3, you get even bigger results. And week 4 of consistent effort, you get all of the results. You get to reap that benefit. So some of you guys are in week 1, and this is your first or second or third week on the job, or maybe you haven't done a lot of stuff to begin with in the job, and you're like, hey, I'm just wanting to like redial in, refocus in, and really just see these results. So the first week, you're going to be putting in a ton of effort and not seeing that result, and that's okay. But momentum is on your side. So the more effort that you guys put in, you guys will see those results turn out on this side as well. So Annie Neeson is a great example of this. Annie's been putting a ton of effort in week 2, 3, and 4, and she got to a couple of promotions. She hit Dirty 30, and now every single week when she sells $1,000, she's getting over a $300 paycheck every single week. And it's because of the effort that she sticked with and her consistency for the past 15 weeks in a row. So the more effort that you guys put in, the more results you guys will see as well. But you won't see this result right away. And that's why this triangle is inverted. So sometimes it feels like, or show of hands, who feels like you make a ton of phone calls, you do a ton of demos, but you don't always see that result? Show of hands if anyone ever feels that way. Absolutely. Sometimes I feel like that way too. I'm like, I'm doing a ton of demos, I'm making a ton of phone calls, I'm just not seeing that result. It's because you don't have momentum on your side. Who's like, it's just like kind of like when you push a snowball down a big hill. It starts off really small, but as it gathers and packs up more snow, when it gets to the bottom, it's going to be huge, right? And so the more consistent you are with your phone calls, the more consistent you are with your sales, and the most consistent you are with your phone calls will lead to bigger and better results over time. But something I want you guys to write down is that momentum takes time. I want you to write that down. Momentum takes time. This is a 4-week process. This is a 4-week process. This is a month-long process. This isn't something that just sporadically happens overnight. Annie Neeson didn't get to almost $30,000 in sales magically. She's been over $1,000 in sales for the past 15 weeks. That's momentum. She has momentum on her side. She hasn't broken her stride. Now, when you're starting at week 1, it can be really tough because you're like, hey, I'm giving in all this effort, but I'm not seeing that reward. And that's okay. It's so important in your first 2 weeks to have that same effort, to have that same attitude and put in more and wait for the results. Because when you get to week 4 and you're putting in minimal amount of effort but receiving maximum reward, that's where things really start to change. That's where things really start to change. And this is a month-long process. So what are some of the things that we can do in this effort column that will lead to results? So 1, let me change the color of this. Let's do orange. So 1 is going to be phone calls. The more you guys phone, the better off you guys are going to be. So phone calls. Key number 2 is going to be people on your guys' names list. Because it's going to be really hard to make phone calls if you have no one to call. Key number 3 of something you guys can do today is getting a calendar. And when you guys put in demo times and demo slots into your guys' calendar and into your guys' schedule, making sure that when you do have demos, you're doing demos. And when you have like a demo slot open, that you're using that time to make phone calls. And then lastly is going to be skills. It's going to be skills. And in quotes, it's going to be your closing, your phoning, and recommendations. It's going to be your CPR. So if you guys make phone calls, build your names list, have a good calendar, know what you're doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, and get these 3 skills mastered of your closing, your phoning, and your recommendations, and stay consistent with these 4 activities for 4 weeks, you guys will see incredible results. You guys will see incredible results. We want to make sure that our momentum is staying the same every single time for 4 weeks in a row. Now, I write this down all the time in my notebook because it just helps me mentally, because I know that sometimes I feel like I put in a lot of work and I'm not getting a lot back out. And I know that we've all felt that and we've all kind of been in that spot as well. But the more consistency, the more good weeks we can put together back to back to back, that's when the game changes. That's when momentum will really drive you guys to get to those better results. So with that being said, go ahead and throw some takeaways in the chat box from the momentum triangle. Go ahead and throw away some takeaways. What's something that you guys learned? What was a key note? Or was like, oh, that was a really good nugget? The more effort you put in, the more results you'll see. Absolutely. Ashley said, keeping the momentum up even though you aren't seeing the results right away. Build momentum and keep it on your side. Christian, absolutely. Consistency is key. Absolutely. Keep consistent effort. Don't just do it for 1 week. Keep going. Effort is key. The harder you work now, the more you will receive later. Absolutely, Karina. Awesome. I love it. I love it. And then Christian said working on skills is not as important perhaps, but putting in the start. Absolutely. Getting those skills mastered, those 4 things, will help you guys with your momentum as well. So with that being said, I think Nick is in better service now. So Nick, thumbs up. Are you in a good spot now? Perfect. So to talk to you about those skills of closing, phoning, and recommendations, we have Nick Beckman. I already did a good little intro for him, so I'm not going to do it again. But here you go, Nicholas Beckman on closing, phoning, and recommendations.
All right. Sorry about, you guys can hear me, right? Thumbs up. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry about earlier. I'm in Amarillo right now, so it was a long drive. So closing, a few tips I had for closing is one thing for me personally is I don't like to look at numbers a lot. So if you ever looked at my average order, it's really shitty. I'm at like 241. But that's because I focus a lot on closing. I won't leave a presentation or a demo without them buying anything. Just one, because it's a great product. And I believe in Cutco wholeheartedly that it's the only thing that you need in your kitchen. So I won't leave without anyone buying anything. Also, when I go to shows and things like that, everyone has to buy Cutco. So I don't mind giving them more free stuff in order for them to buy things. But always talk to Trey about that. I do it personally because I don't care. Well, I care, but I care more of what they like. And closing is always finding something that they like. And a thing that helps me close on a lot of things is finding what your favorite piece of Cutco is. So me personally, I love the cheese knife, the hearty slicer, the vegetable knife, the fillet knife, and then also the petite slicer. One of the reasons I like 3 of those knives is because they all come in the ultimate set. So eventually everyone will get an ultimate set. But I also love them because the hearty slicer is just the best meat knife. The cheese knife is the only knife you should ever have in the world because it's the best. The fillet knife, I like it because it's bendy and flexible and you can like cut watermelons with it, fillet fish. The vegetable knife is literally just the best knife in the world. It's the only one you can have. And you know, in Cutco we have, I think it's 5 different chef's knives. No, 2, 4. Yeah, 5 different chef's knives. And so it's always good to have multiple, especially the vegetable knife, because it's you're always doing thinly sliced things. And then the petite slicer, just because it's smaller than the bigger one. And also it's better for other things. But I always push those things, and then there's most of them are customer recommended pieces. And then the other best thing is to always talk about the shears, because no one can live without a scissors that cuts pennies. So that's another big thing. So I always focus on making sure that everyone has Cutco. And that's the importance, is as long as they have at least one piece of Cutco, they'll never go back to anything else. I've had customers actually prepare to send their knives back instead of me sharpening them, and then they go buy at a Walmart. They go to Walmart and buy like a really crappy set of knives, and then I get mad at them, and then we end up sending all of their knives back. But that's because they never got them sharpened. But it's always like they don't want to ever go back to having no knives, and so that's why they love Cutco. The only reason they had to buy another set of knives is because they had their knives for 30 years and they were adults. So that's why. But always take care of your people. And then the other one was phoning. So Trey and I talk about this a lot. I'm like the #1 phone person. There are weeks where I'll do, well, actually, my goal is to do 100 phone calls a day. I know it seems like a lot to most of you, but it's totally possible. You can do 100 phone calls. It took me an entire summer just to get to that point. But I love phoning. I know people like, oh, I don't like phoning because, people are, but you're on the phone all day. If somebody's rude to you, you know what? You just hang up and you call them whatever you want to call them. I have my own personal sayings for them, but they're just missing out on a good quality thing. And phoning goals just give you, like, if I don't have a good phoning week or whatever, and like Trey said, it's a buildup. So I just came back from New Mexico last week. I was there for 2 weeks, and I'm in Texas now. A lot of travel, but I literally phoned every day for 2 weeks and built up, and I ended up having 25 appointments in 3 days, and then a show, and I sold 7K that week, and it's all because I phoned a lot. And that's all you got to do, is if you phone a lot, you're going to build up your schedule. And I know if you hate it, there's always ways around it, because you can phone enough. You all can always give yourself like a little treat. Like sometimes I'll sit and phone for 2 hours, and then I'm like, all right, it's time for a break. And then I'm like, no, I didn't hit my goal. I need to make 5 more phone calls. And then I book 5 more appointments after phoning for 2 hours and not booking a single appointment. So there's always a goal in there. If you always hit your goal, there's always going to be a reward for that. And so I make sure I put it on my schedule when I'm phoning. I usually phone on Tuesdays because that's my off day. Well, it's my off day where I don't do appointments, but it's my day to catch up on work and phone. Doesn't make any sense, but it's a good thing to do. And phoning saves your life, because if you don't phone, you're not going to make sales. Definitely true. Phoning makes money. You can't make money if you don't make phone calls, and you're never going to make a sale. You're never going to have that big sale if you don't make the phone call. I have one of my favorite customers, actually. She bought an ultimate set for me. I called her 35 times before she answered the phone. She's also a really busy lady, but when she answered, we set up the appointment and she bought the ultimate set. So never give up on that person, because that person's going to answer eventually. You just keep calling them, just annoy the shit out of them, and they end up buying something at least. But she's my favorite customer because she's the best. And then the last one is recommendations. I know it's so hard to get recommendations, but it's important to memorize the script. Forgot to say this for phoning, but memorize your phoning script, because in the long run, you'll definitely need it. I'm on the Fair and Show team, and most of the guys who are farther up, they don't ask for recommendations, and I think of them as idiots because I love recommendations. Don't tell them I thought they were idiots, please. Like, come on, they're not. But always memorize that. Like, I had a customer a few weeks ago. She didn't buy anything from me, but she recommended me to a few people. I just did a service call for one of the recommendations, and she ended up buying more knives for Christmas presents for her husband. And that's why it's always important to get some sort of recommendations. I average probably about 5 appointment. but definitely memorize the script, and it helps you out so much because when you're trying to build a business through Cutco, you can't just build it through your family and friends. You always have to get those recommendations. And I also do a lot of recommendations through Facebook. I definitely suggest that. I actually last week had a guy, well, one of the guys I sold to, he was on Facebook and his friend was like, "Oh, I want Cutco, but I want to buy it from a rep." And he's like, "Well, so-and-so selling Cutco." And he mentioned my name. I jumped on it right away. This dude bought $2,000 worth of Cutco. So like always have that avenue. It's a long-term buildup, but it's going to work forever. And so if you want to do like branch or district manager or be a CSP like myself, I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. This year I'm going to be there because I'm 10,000 away from it. But is you have to memorize your scripts. You have to work hard. And I tell everyone in my office and some of the people I work with, and then I also get complimented. They're like, "Well, why do you travel so much?" I'm like, "Because I want to build a business. I want to be the best person there is out there who sells Cutco. And the only way that you're going to do that is if you work your ass off and if you have a good work ethic. And the only way to have a good work ethic is if you actually do it." I know it sounds simple. There are days where I want to sit at home and not do anything, but I do have to work. And it's a building process. You work hard for the first 2 years of your life, and then you don't have to work hard anymore. And I strongly believe that. So that's what I have for you for CPR. You got to resuscitate your business a little bit. So those things are what's going to resuscitate you and make your business grow. And you have Tre, and Tre's the best. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys.
Awesome. Round of applause for Nick. And Nick, is it okay if I just like pepper you with a couple questions?
Yeah.
Here, let me go ahead and spotlight myself too. Add spotlight. Perfect. So Nick, you said closing. You said you don't leave an appointment without them getting something. So like your mentality is like, just to make sure that like we're on the same page, your mentality is every single appointment you're due, they're going to get something, right?
Yes.
And I love that. So what are like 2 to 3 pieces where you're like, you've dropped down all the way. You're at kind of like the reserve the buy now bonus. What are a couple pieces where you can always know for a fact, if you pitch this one knife, they're going to get at least something? What's that one piece?
So I have a few, but I'll give you 2 of them. So the one knife is definitely the trimmer, because a trimmer can do a lot of things. It's also under $100. And if you split it up on a 2 pay, it's $40 for 2 months. And then the other one is cutting boards. Because if people have like dull knives, I always tell them, like, if you use our cutting boards, they never dull. The cutting boards also have the same warranty as the knives. So after you've used the hell out of your cutting board, we send it back, they recycle it, and they send you a brand new one. And people love cutting boards. They also use them a lot. And so it's always a good thing to fall back on. Plus, they're like extra CPO in your pocket, because if you get all 3, it's only $87. So
Awesome. And so what are you at in career sales?
I was just looking, let me tell you. I think I'm at 125,000.
$125,000 in sales. And you started, when did you start?
The end of last May. So a year and 5 months.
So a year and 5 months, and you're already at 125,000. That's awesome. And so that's a little bit about closing. So obviously you're pretty good at closing. Next is phoning. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say you make 100 phone calls a day?
I try to. When I'm not working a show, I make 100 phone calls. I know. Well, if I'm not working a show or traveling, I make 100 phone calls a day.
Awesome. 100 phone calls a day. I love it. I remember when I was an assistant manager, I made 40 calls a day. That was me. So you're making me look like a chump. So 100 phone calls a day. I love it. And then recommendations. You say you average on average, you say you get about 5 to 10 recommendations?
Yeah.
Awesome. And why are recommendations so powerful and so important to ask for every single time?
Well, 1, it helps you grow and get more people on your names list. And 2, it's an opportunity to meet other really cool people that, 1, either own Cutco, or 2, have the opportunity to own Cutco. And me personally, I love meeting new people, and it's always fun learning interesting things about people and telling them a lot about me. So that's one thing to get recommendations, and then if you also get your name out, if somebody doesn't give you recommendations, I've had people not give me any, and then they'll text me later and be like, oh, hey, we're getting on topic of knives and I'm going to send you this person. So like, even if they don't give you any, they're going to keep you in the back of their mind. If you're a really cool and interesting person, if you're super dull and you're not interesting, then they won't give you any. But yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And then next thing I just want to go ahead and ask you about is a little bit about the Fair and Show program and what being a part of Fair and Show and what being a CSP is really like. I know there's a couple of people on the call who've been interested in advancement in sales and that kind of next step. So can you just explain a little bit more about what Fair and Show is and what happens once you get to $20,000 in sales and what that unlocks for you?
Sure. So once you get 20,000, you get to do service calls. Service calls are my forte. Of my $90,000 this year, 60,000 of it has come from service calls. So one is you get to learn how to sharpen knives, super easy. You just walk to their house, sharpen their knives, and then you sell more Cutco, super easy. And then that's my favorite thing is doing service calls. Then the other thing is you get to do fairs or shows. Shows are literally the best thing in the world. You set up a tent, you have your table, people walk up to you and buy Cutco. If they own Cutco already, they'll buy from you, and then you do a quick 5-minute presentation instead of sitting in front of a computer for 45 minutes and trying to sell Cutco. You talk to them in 5 minutes and sell them Cutco. My last show that I just did, I did a Brewfest and I sold 4K. I had an ultimate, 2 galleys, and then a bunch of piece orders. So it's super easy. And the other thing too is we have a great team. We also have the best rep in the country, Curtis. We learn from him. And then the other cool thing too is once you're at 20,000, you start learning with Blake. So Blake's my mentor right now, and I've learned so much from the guy. And I'm actually trying to break his record for first year on the job, which he sold 110K. So his record's going to get blown out of the water. And then just the opportunity to keep growing. You learn so much from everyone, and it's a good team environment because everybody helps each other out. And then there's just different opportunities too, like different awards you can get. You can be in the Hall of Fame. My goal this year is to win a sword. So Tre bought his sword. I'm going to win my first one. So jokes on it. No, I'm kidding. It's just a really great work environment. And the other thing too is you can make your own schedule, as you guys all know. But like I took a 2-week vacation this summer. I didn't have to tell anyone that I was doing it. I just took 2 weeks off, and then I had to come back and sell a lot because I didn't get paid for 2 weeks. But I sold 10K in 9 days. So anything is possible. And it's just so much. And then you get to build a relationship with a ton of customers. I have almost 1,000. And each and every person, when I go back to their house in a few years, I'm going to know exactly everything about them. They love learning about me. I love learning about them. And it's all about that relationship building. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Before I started Cutco, I was very shy. Now I'm not that shy anymore, and I can't stop talking. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nick. Everyone give Nick a round of applause, and go ahead and post in the chat box what your guys' takeaway was from this, and let Nick know how grateful and how happy you guys are that he got to swing by and say what's up to you guys. Awesome. Zach said an average of 40 calls per hour is completely doable when you practice it with phoning. 100 calls equals 2.5 hours of phoning. That's a Sunday morning. That's light work. I love it. Andy said, thank you, Nick. Never give up on that person that won't answer. Yeah, Nick has called someone 35 times before they answered. They ended up buying an ultimate set. Do you think it was worth it to call him 35 times? Absolutely. Terry Lynn said calling and trying is the most important to success. Great to see you, Nick. You're killing it, dude. Keep crushing it and push yourself, and progress will happen. Phoning is key. Making those calls equals making money. Also great tips. Thank you, Nick. Eduardo said your phoning effort is what keeps you afloat. Absolutely. Ashley Fetty said the intention to close every single demo. Everyone needs at least one piece of Cutco in their kitchen and they'll come back for more. Keep calling the people that don't answer. Isabella said, always selling something every demo, even a single knife. Thank you, Nick. That was amazing. Christian said, I will memorize that phoning script to be able to make more phone calls. Awesome. Well, it looks like you guys got a lot of notes from that. It looks like you guys got a lot of takeaways from that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our phone jam. So if you guys want to go ahead and pull out your schedules, pull out your scripts, pull up your guys' calendars. And as you guys are pulling up your scripts, your phones, and your calendars, I'm just going to be reading off a couple of things. And once you guys have all three, give me a nice little phone wiggle. So we need every rep on our team. We have 45 minutes to make phone calls. We got 45 minutes to make phone calls. So the goal is to make at least 20 calls. With a 4-to-1 ratio, you guys will book at least 5 demos. And if someone hasn't told you this yet today, every call you make matters, every demo you do matters, and you guys freaking matter. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our phone jams. I'm gonna count us down from 3. When I get to 1, I want us all to press dial. So 3, make sure you guys get your phoning voices ready. Me, moo, 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 blah, 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 blah. 2, make sure you guys have your scripts up. Read that script word for word, bar for bar, verse for verse, and you will not fail. 1, let's make that freaking money. And let me know when you guys book a demo now. Dial, baby, dial. Let's book some demos and make some money.